Disclaimer. Me and Chaos fully understand the amount of effort that was put into Double Rainboom, and we respect everyone who worked on it. Please note that the opinions in the review that follow are strictly our own and not meant to insult or berate their work in any way. However, as it looks like and was advertised as a professional fan-made episode, it will be judged as such. Thank you and enjoy. Hey guys, Somber Guy here, and welcome to the pilot for this PF2 podcast thing we're doing here. And as you could probably tell from that disclaimer, we will be reviewing Double Rainboom. But since I'm too much of a pussy to do reviews on my own, I have a co-host here.
Hello, it's Chaos Lord 121. A lot of you probably know me on the PF2 forums as, well, Chaos Lord 121. But anyway, I am going to be co-hosting this.
So yeah, Chaos Lord here is going to be my co-host, and we really have nothing else to talk about, so let's just jump right into the review, shall we? I'm going to let Chaos here give you all a brief summary of the story, and then we'll start talking about the pros and cons.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So the summary goes as this. Twilight, for whatever reason, is making a potion that she has been working on for, over a decade now?
Yeah, probably about 8 to 10 years.
And Rainbow Dash, apparently not being very smart, just suddenly decides to drink it out of nowhere, and then she can fly really fast.
Shit happens.
Yeah. She goes up to space, decides to do a double rainboom just out of nowhere with no context or anything like that. And then somehow she gets transported into another dimension. Isn't everybody just supposed to know that?
A dimension that we will not give any information on because it's guessed when we get there.
Yeah. So some crazy shit happens, and then she goes back to Equestria, to Ponyville.
Via Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. And apparently brought on the apocalypse. So that's about it.
Yep, that's about it. So, Double Rainboom is pretty much notorious for being a very poorly put together fan animation. It was advertised as the first MLP episode, and despite the amount of work that went into it, reception when it was released was very lukewarm at best.
Not even lukewarm, still. I mean, with that being said, there are some good things in it. Like the animation, it looks just like the show, and from a technical standpoint, it's really well done. And the voice acting's okay.
So we're going to be listing, here's how the review is going to go down. We're going to be listing the pros and cons of the show first. Then we're going to talk about the imagery. The references in the episode are going to be something that is exclusive only to this review because Double Rainboom had a lot of references.
And there is a lot to say.
And me and Chaos both have ample thoughts on that. After we talk about the references, we'll give our personal thoughts, and we will end this review with a score. So, with all that out of the way, let's go on to the pros and cons of the animation. First, we're going to list the pros of the animation. The animation animation was very good. It was very smooth. I think that ran at 50 frames per second throughout, which is on par with the quality of the show from a technical standpoint.
There were some really good effects. The double rainboom effect looked amazing.
That looked really cool. We both agree that was
easily the best aspect of the entire thing.
Yeah, but I think that they meant for it to be that way because it was the focus of the entire episode. The voice acting was mostly good. There was one character who kind of wasn't good, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But for the most part, the voice acting was okay. Chaos, you have anything to add to that?
No, not really. That about sums it up.
Yeah, okay. So that's it for pros. Now, we have quite a few cons that we're going to list here. That we thought that Double Rainboom failed in. These are aspects that we did not like. Obviously, you could have guessed that already. I'm going to start off by talking about Twilight's voice actor. We said that the voice actors in the animation were mostly good, but there was one who we didn't like. That was the voice actress who was playing Twilight. I feel that at points there were times when Twilight's voice actress was trying way too hard to emulate her. Like this scene, she sounds like she's struggling with the voice.
What were you thinking? I should have known you would drink it. I'll have to make it all over again.
And there were also times where she just dragged on, like this scene.
Rainbow Dash! You have to slow down! No pony has ever gone this fast before. The side effects could be disastrous. Rainbow Dash? Rainbow Dash! Rainbow Dash!
Which, I mean, we don't mean to show her any disrespect, but she was easily the worst act of the entire animation. I believe that there's something you want to talk about now, Chaos?
Well, the characters. They are portrayed pretty inaccurately. For example, what Rainbow Dash did at the beginning, I don't picture her ever doing in the actual show. I mean, she is a daredevil, she does do all sorts of wild stuff, but that is something she wouldn't do. But that's the least of this thing's problems.
And while he's on that subject, I would like to mention the universe that Dash got sent to. Dash got sent to the Powerpuff Girls universe, a universe that we really had no business visiting. Anyway, so she gets into this universe, there's a monster attacking Townsville, and the Powerpuff Girls go and handle him. And, you know, it's basically par for the course, but they get beaten, so Rainbow Dash goes up to the monster. Rainbow Dash kind of scolds him, and she decides to let him go. Something that you would usually see the Powerpuff Girls do. But after this happens, the Powerpuff Girls show up and defeat the monster off screen, pretty much kill him. So with that, the Powerpuff Girls as well as the ponies are portrayed inaccurately, because the Powerpuff Girls would really never do that. Then they act as antagonists, chasing Dash all around Townsville, hounding her because they want her as a pet, which, you know, would be any little girl's dream. Every little girl wants a pony. I don't think there's any dispute about that. But that's the universe Dash got sent to. She gets saved by Pinkie opening up a magic portal, which is a plot inconsistency that I will cover right now. Pinkie Pie claims that she opened that portal because Twilight made another potion. Now, if you would just remember Twilight saying this...
I'm trying to add the final ingredient to a potion I've been working on ever since I was in Magic Kindergarten. Magic Kindergarten.
How would Twilight be able to make a potion in 10 minutes that took her 10 years to do prior? Makes no sense. That's one of the many plot inconsistencies. Another plot inconsistency, and probably the biggest one of the entire episode, is when Dash decides to do the double Rainboom. At this point, when she decides to do the double Rainboom, despite it being the title of the episode, it had never been previously mentioned, established, or explained by this point in the animation. So she does this little stunt with no context. And that really kind of bothers me because we know what a sonic Rainboom is. We saw it in the show, yeah. But, and you could argue, well, the double Rainboom is just two sonic Rainbooms back to back. I'm sorry, I can't accept that. You need to have more context with this. There was absolutely no context. She just did it. It's the title of the episode. Fuck it. And that's the biggest plot inconsistency I saw. And basically, as Chaos said, yeah, she brings about the apocalypse. Those were pretty much all the plot inconsistencies I wanted to mention. Now I'm going to hand the mic back over to Chaos so he can explain how pathetic the moral was.
Alright, the moral was a wonderful, timeless lesson that everyone should learn at some point in their lives. Are you ready for this? Don't steal. Yeah, that's about it. But it's a little irrelevant considering that Dash didn't just steal the potion, but she also literally nuked Ponyville from orbit. And I'm pretty sure the destruction of Ponyville overshadows the fact that she stole a potion. Maybe in her letter, she should ask Celestia to send her to the moon for all the damage that she caused. And the fake advertising, oh my god. They hyped this up to be the first fan-made episode on par with the actual show, which is really the only thing that was on par with it was the animation. And really, this wasn't so much of an episode as it was just a giant circle jerk of references and the crossover that did not need to happen.
I mean, I guess I can elaborate on that. The reason we thought it would be on par with the show is because that's what they said. They basically advertised it as, this is the first My Little Pony fan-made episode, and it's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. It really wasn't that great. I mean, the writing was lackluster. Basically, nothing really came together all that well. And as I said, we understand, both me and Chaos understand very well the amount of effort and painstaking work they did to make this. How annoying it must have been to get permission from both Hasbro and Time Warner to use their intellectual properties. But it guess really nothing really happened. So, I mean, I guess we were expecting more from something that presented itself as so high quality. So, with all those cons out of the way, let's talk a little bit more about the imagery. As me and Chaos have said multiple times, the images on this animation were stunning. However, there are a few errors. One that I find particularly embarrassing is this shot right here, where Rainbow Dash is pretty much in bondage. Look how high up her arms are. There's no way those arms of hers could be up that high. So there's just a few little derp errors like that around in the video. Nothing too major. It's not really going to affect the score or anything. But however, this next thing is much more damning. If you've watched Double Rainboom, you've noticed that there is a pacing problem. The editing in Double Rainboom is so sluggish and so just holds times where nothing happens. The editing in Double Rainboom is just awful, and the pacing is just horrible. Basically, the story falls flat on its face because of the awful editing. And that's another reason why this animation was so badly received. Mainly because none of the jokes were timed right. And that is a big, big problem when you're working on a professional project. I just wanted to say that little piece on the images. Chaos, do you have anything to add to this?
No, not really. That about summed it up.
Okay, so we're going to move on to references.
Oh boy, there's a lot of ridiculous stuff here. Now to begin with, the title alone is a meme reference to Double Rainbow. I mean, everyone's seen it, I don't need to explain it. Alright, moving on. When Twilight creates the ability enhancing potion, for whatever reason, a troll face pops out in a cloud of black smoke. For no reason at all. I mean, the potion doesn't do anything remotely trollish. It functions as intended, so I don't know what that's about. Alright, moving on. After Rainbow starts zipping all the way through Ponyville and practically destroying everything, she flies by Scootaloo and somehow makes her fly face first into a billboard for chickens. I mean, yeah, get it? Because she's a chicken, you know?
Oh yeah, that joke hasn't been done to death.
Yeah. And next, we fly by Derpy, who's eating a muffin. Now, this joke would have been funny if it didn't go on for so long. What happens? Derpy's eating a muffin. A flower pot falls on her head. Her eyes go back to normal. I mean, they could have just left it at that. But nope, they had to keep going and going and going with it. So another flower pot hits her, makes her eyes go back to how they usually are, and then lands on the muffin. This gag was about how long? 1 minute?
I think
1 to 2 minutes?
No, not that way. It was about 30 to 45 seconds, maybe a minute.
Felt a lot longer than that. Anyway, moving on. After Rainbow flies up into space and gets ready to do the double rainbow, there is a face on the moon.
For no reason.
I didn't know what it was, but apparently it's Domo-kun from, I don't know what he's from, some kind of doll.
And there are even more references. That's just half. Of course, Rainbow Dash, when she flies into the other dimension, they referenced Back to the Future, complete with the Back to the Future theme. While Dash is in the portal, she's surrounded by all of these other characters from Cartoon Network. Among them, there's Johnny Bravo, there's Dexter from Dexter's Lab, there's Courage the Cowardly Dog, I think. And there's a couple others in there. They're there for no reason. And then the Powerpuff Girls reference, that's obviously, one big whole thing there. And that's pretty much all the references in a nutshell. There are some quick one-off references, like I think they used the Zelda item find sound effect. When Twilight's talking about the potion, the costumes Rarity makes when she's mentioning Rarity, they're all references to different outfits in video games and stuff like that. All the animals that surround Fluttershy, they're references to animals from different cartoons. Pinkie Pie has Blue with her at the very end of the animation. The creator's OC makes a cameo appearance during the destruction of Ponyville. It's just all the references. There is no thought put into them at all.
It's just a giant circle jerk.
Basically.
That's it.
Basically, yeah. And, it's kind of annoying when you have all these references and there's no substance to them. They don't contribute anything to the story. If you have a reference, it has to make sense. It has to fit in. Very few of the references fit in. Also, there's one-off references to different episodes like Read and Weep and Lesson Zero and stuff like that. It's kind of annoying. And they just went way overboard with the references. And Chaos Lord in particular really, really is just, he doesn't like it at all. I mean, Chaos Lord, what do you hate about these references so much?
Well, they serve no purpose other than for you to say, yeah, I get it. I get the reference, and that's it. I mean, a good reference will make you go, oh, that's neat. Okay, I like that. But no, all the ones in Double Rainbow just, they don't do anything. I mean, there's some cool background stuff, but it's not shoved in your face like the troll face, for example.
I mean, you know what? Maybe this is just me, but it seems kind of like they thought they knew what people wanted to see, and that's what they put in the animation. And I respect that. I respect the effort. It was a good effort, but sometimes it just doesn't click. And this is one of those times where it didn't click. It wasn't executed well enough.
Not at all.
So, I mean, yeah, the references, good effort, but personally, me and Chaos, it just doesn't do it for us. You can't just, oh, look, troll face for no reason.
Exactly. And when they shove it in your face, it's just really annoying.
Indeed it is, yeah. So that's pretty much the extent of our thoughts on the references. So, I believe that's all the aspects covered that we wanted to cover.
Yeah, I think so.
Now we can go on to our final thoughts, and we can give this Double Rainboom thing a rating. I'll start. Personally, I think that Double Rainboom was, it had the chance to become a good animation. It really did. But, I guess it was just poorly received, and the story was very poor. And it's kind of sad when you think about all the work that went into it. It's a really high-quality fan animation. At least it's better than Dusk's Dawn. Maybe we'll talk about that one day. But it is quality. It's quality, but it's quality not done well, if that makes sense. It's quality in terms of imagery. It's not quality in terms of story. There were many things wrong with it, but it was a good effort nonetheless. I personally don't really like it. And I may have been a little hard on it in this review, but sometimes it needs to be said. And those are pretty much my thoughts on it. I mean, it's a good animation, but it was just executed poorly. Chaos, your final thoughts?
Pretty much everything you said I agree with. It's really well done from a technical standpoint, but everything else is just not that good. The story's convoluted, the voice acting, while decent, could be a lot better, and all the references were unnecessary.
They were.
It was a mess. And I think if they took a little bit more time to iron out the writing, it could have been something really, really good.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, the potion actually sounded like, something that could be in the show.
Yeah, it's a good plot.
That potion had a lot of potential. What I wish had happened is, they could have given a little bit of that potion to all of the main six and just saw the adverse effects instead of just getting a lecture from Twilight.
Exactly. That would have been great.
Rainbow Dash would have still done her double Rainboom.
And really, I know it's a fan animation, I know it was done by college students, but they advertise it to be on par with the quality of the show, as we have stated numerous times, and it needs to be judged as such.
Yes, it does. So with that, we will present our final score. I give Double Rainboom a 6.5 out of 10.
I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Ooh, that's pretty tough, man. Anyway, this is Somber Guy.
And this is Chaos Lord 121.
And we are signing out.
Later.